runs on natural law. So, binding immutable conditions that govern the consequences of behavior. General principles of natural law. These are from Thoth, the Atlantean, from his mystery school. The principle of mentalism. The principle of correspondence. These are all Hermetic principles, or really Kemetic principles, because they began before Hermes, before the Greek age. The principle of polarity. The principle of rhythm. The principle of cause and effect. And the principle of gender. So we touched on some of these in the first class. We're going to touch on a few of these in this class. But I can't get to it enough. The principle of mentalism. It's kind of what I've been focusing on, just kind of giving you a little bit of my own background and where I come from. Mentalism. Consciously making thoughts become reality. When people, a lot of people get offended when we say that you're God, I'm God. Oh man, you didn't make a planet. The esoteric message still eluded them. They didn't get it. When you tell somebody that they're a god or a goddess, we got goddesses in here for sure, you're telling them that the divine energy that created this entire universe is inside of their body. And because that energy is inside of their body, that same divinity is part of them. And because it's part of them, they're God. Period. Point blank. It's just that simple. So part of the same powerful force that created the galaxies and stars and even the multiverse is flowing through your veins, which means some of that power you have access to. And we prove that we have access to that power on a daily basis, and I'm going to show you how. Your memory is really an incredible thing. Things I do, simple things like I forgot where I put my keys or my cell phone. So most of the time the cell phone is in my hand. I can't find my cell phone, it's in my hand. Stuff, dumb stuff like that. But for the most part, my memory's been pretty decent. I've been blessed with a pretty decent memory. I mean, I can kind of really recite the periodic table of elements, if I wanted to. But there's still things that elude me, like directions. I have no sense of direction whatsoever. At least I think I have no sense of direction. But the fact is, every one of our memories operates in different ways, but it's just as crisp. It's just that we access specific parts of our mental to do our recall process. But you don't realize that your subconscious is calculating and taking in every single thing that's going on in every single second. Since I've been up here, every single one of your faces has been permanently stored in my memory and in my DNA. Every single one of your outfits, every color you have on, every piece of jewelry, every watch, the whole camera set, everything, every speck of dust on the floor, every piece of paper, every water bottle, everything that's in this room is permanently locked into my memory and available for recall. And not just any kind of recall, I'm talking about complete high detail recall. So what they did was they did a case study on people, random people who volunteered for the case study, and they split them in half. Some people, they took them for a walk through a city. That's why I have this picture up. And some people, and the other people, they took them all for a walk through a city. But they took some people and they did what do you call it? They did when they put you under hypnosis. They put them under hypnosis. And the other people, they didn't put them under hypnosis. So they asked the division of the people, half over here that didn't get hypnotized, what did you see? And they wrote down everything they saw. The people that were hypnotized, they said, give me everything you saw. It was almost 3 times the amount of information. Almost 3 times, just from being hypnotized. They were able to go and tap into the subconscious, and they were able to pull up information. And the information was verifiable because it was in the city that they walked through. They were able to recall jewelry and windows, not only the jewelry, but what kind of watches they were. Conversations that they heard walking by people throughout the walk, and even signs of buildings and stores that they've never been in and never even thought about going into. They were able to recall that information. So typically you're thinking, they're looking for things to remember, but they were remembering things that they had no interest in whatsoever and didn't even realize that their minds were even downloading that information. Okay, that's the power of the mind. So everybody here, I'm sure, I saw the movie The Matrix, just about everybody. Okay, if you haven't seen that movie, you gotta go check it out. I saw it when it first came out, because I knew right away it was gonna be a metaphysical story just from the previews. A lot of the things that I saw in the preview of The Matrix, which was a long time ago, I was like, wow, this is how my mind thinks. So I had to go see it opening night. Amazing movie because they really exposed a lot of metaphysical information, a lot of quantum mechanics, quantum physics, a lot of spirituality, spiritual messages. And the main character's name is Neo. They gave him the name Neo because of the neocortex. So the neocortex is Latin for new bark or new rind, also called the neophallium or new mantle. It is part of the brain in mammals. It is the outer layer of the cerebral hemispheres and makes up 6 layers labeled 1 through 6, with 6 being the most innermost and 1 being the most outermost. The neocortex is part of the cerebral cortex, along with the archaeocortex and paleocortex, which are cortical parts of the limbic system. In humans, it is involved in higher functions such as sensory perception, generation of motor commands, spatial reasoning, conscious thought, and language, and you thought it was just a name. But the neocortex is a powerful part of the brain. As a matter of fact, a lot of people get a deep stroke, and it affects the neocortex, and that's what usually destroys people when they have a stroke. If it's a deep stroke, that's what usually happens. That's actually what happened to my dad about, October. That's when it happened. He went into the hospital, unfortunately from a police brutality incident 4 years prior. They had broken his back, and it didn't heal right. That whole class I had to do it the day after my dad passed away. But he went to the hospital. He walked in there on his own free will. Somebody went and his neighbor took him there. But they didn't realize he had been self-medicating so much to avoid the pain. He ramped up his drinking, which he was already a drinker, but he was drinking 3 cases of beer a day and taking all the pain meds. They kept giving him all the pain meds. And when they took him into the hospital and said, okay, we got to admit you because your back is really messed up. And one wrong move and you could be paralyzed. Admitted him to the hospital, didn't give him they didn't realize, I guess they didn't do a good research. They didn't realize he needed to have the alcohol and the drug medication, at least enough to keep him from going into withdrawals. And they didn't. So what happened? He went to withdrawals. And then withdrawals triggered a massive deep stroke deep inside the neocortex, and that triggered seizures, and then he had 100 seizures in 2 days, which completely erased his mind. So, yeah. So when you hear me talking about police brutality, I got a real reason to talk about it. Because when it happened 4 years ago, I said they just took 15 years off my dad's life. And that's about how much time they took. I mean, he should be alive for another 15 years right now. So, it's unfortunate. So we're going to talk about light. Light equals intelligence, okay? Light equals intelligence. Everything in this entire universe is made of light. This is where you're going to see a little overlap from New York. So we're living in a light matrix. I'm not going to go heavy into quantum holographic universe theory right now today, but just understand that at the smallest level, at the smallest particle, if you crash them together, you're going to discover that the only thing that really exists in this whole third dimension is light. Light, the particles are only light slowed down to a specific frequency and then that interact with consciousness. And that's what we get the illusion of matter and solidity. Like I said before, 7.5 billion people on the planet. But if I take away all the empty space in between all the atoms of those 7.5 billion people, I can fit everyone into a sugar cube. Okay? You got to realize that. My hand is hitting this table, or is it not? My hand isn't hitting this table. My hand is repelling the table. Really what's happening is the electrons in my hand are repelling the electrons in this tabletop. If I can phase shift the atomic frequency of the atoms in my hand to the frequency of the atoms in this table, I would pass my hand right through this table as if it didn't even exist. Okay, so when you hear about things like beings walking through walls and things like that, in my mind, I could be wrong, but I think it's advanced technology. I think that some of these people have the capability of doing things like that. I think there's beings that can even phase shift their frequency and walk from one dimension into our dimension and then back again, and then back again. So I think that it's nothing but light frequency, an understanding of how light frequencies truly work and how to manipulate them. So basically what quantum physics has now proven through the double slit experiment is that all that exists are electromagnetic waves. There is nothing solid until a consciousness interacts with a wave and collapses it into something we consider to be solid. And what this means is, while you guys are all here right now, your house, wherever you live, exists as a wave. A waveform. It doesn't exist as a solid structure until you look at it. Until you look at it. And there's a frame-by-frame delay, which we'll go into a little bit there. We're not in real time. We're in lag time. We're actually a little bit behind. But everything exists as light. The first ever photograph of light, both as a particle and a wave, was just taken. This is from physics.org. So they finally discovered a way to take a photo right at the moment that a electromagnetic wave, which is light, by the way, all electromagnetic waves are light, okay? They're all light. That's what electromagnetism are waves of light. You can't see them with your eye because we only see a very small percentage of light. But if you had the capability of seeing in many bands of light, you'd be able to see trillions of waves flowing in us and through us and around us right now. Matter of fact, some of us would probably freak out because it could be a little horrifying to see other beings walking around at the same time in other light frequencies. So as a human being, we exist both as solid matter and we also exist as a wave of light. You are literally a light being. Every single one of us is a light being. We are beings of light. Every atom in your body is nothing more than a particle which has really started off as a wave, which has now been slowed down to what's considered to be a solid piece of matter. So the word of the week is electromagnetic spectrum. The electromagnetic spectrum describes all wavelengths of light, both seen and unseen. Light is a wave alternating electric and magnetic fields. The propagation of light isn't much different than the waves crossing an ocean. Like any other wave, light has a few fundamental properties that describe it. One is its frequency, measured in hertz, which counts the number of waves that pass by a point in a second. Another closely related property is wavelength, the distance from the peak of one wave to the peak of the next. These two attributes are inversely related. The larger frequency, the larger the frequency, the smaller the wavelength, and vice versa. So we're literally, and I told somebody the other day, somebody said to me the other day, God, you don't think God cares about us and God's not, if I pray to win my game, you don't think that God wants me to win a basketball game? And I was like, not really. In my opinion, the creator of this realm, of this third dimension exists. I believe it because of the science, to me, proves in a creator. This is, all the ancient texts say we're living in a creation. I'm telling you that the method used to create it is a light matrix. That's the method used for the creation. And I believe that from a higher perspective, if you look at a very nice, calm pond of water, and you take it, you're the creator, you drop a pebble in it, and you watch the ripples go out. And those ripples go out and they propagate out infinitely. And as they propagate, those ripples create circumstances. They create universes, galaxies, people, animals, alternate dimensions. They create problems and issues and love and light and hate and darkness and all these things. Hi, I'm Billy Carson, researcher, speaker, and best-selling author of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets and Woke Doesn't Mean Broke. I'm inviting you to join me on forbiddenknowledge.tv to enjoy hours of great programming, learn the secrets of ancient Egypt, unexplained structures on the moon and Mars, financial literacy, holistic and healthy lifestyles. Go now to forbiddenknowledge.tv and get 3 days free. While there, you can enter to win a Rolls Royce. That's forbiddenknowledge.tv. You are watching Forbidden Knowledge TV. Hi, my name is Billy Carson, and I'm the president of Forbidden Knowledge. We have an amazing investment opportunity here for anyone who wants to buy shares in Forbidden Knowledge. The money that's generated from this crowdfunding platform is going to be used to bring on a new content acquisitions partner. We're going to hire a new in-house graphics designer, a social media manager, put together a customer service team and a customer service management program that will organize and satisfy all the different legs of Forbidden Knowledge Inc., as well as, and of course, make more improved high quality streaming content for the Forbidden Knowledge TV platform, which right now is featured on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, iOS and Android apps, and also, of course, the web. The streaming platform is a year old right now and doing very, very well. And we're looking for your support where you can not only be a conscious customer, but also be a part owner in an amazing opportunity that includes streaming TV, book publishing, and e-commerce. Grow with us and earn with us. Forbidden Knowledge Inc.